I'm State Representative Andy Billig from the 3rd Legislative District, which is the heart of Spokane, Washington, coming to you from my office here in Olympia at the Capitol. If you contact my office via email or by phone, or if you stop by when you're here in Olympia, you'll most likely talk to or communicate with my legislative assistant, Barb Human. Barb does a terrific job of helping me to stay in touch with everybody back in Spokane so that I can hear all of your input and all of your feedback and concerns, and also so I can get information back out to you. So one of the best ways to communicate is via email. We get a ton of emails, and I want to assure you, if you contact us by email, I read every email that comes in, and either Barb or I will respond to every email from a constituent. Your views are heard, and they really make a difference, so I encourage you to stay in touch any way you want to, but it especially works well in email. And our email address is andy.billig@ledge.wa.gov. And what I wanted to do today was to share a few emails with you and give you a few answers here on camera. Let's start with the first one.
The first email is from Mary and Tim from Spokane, who are writing about the Northwest Museum of Arts and Cultures. And they write, "Everyone understands these are truly challenging times for state government. It's also vital to understand the proposed closure of the MAC will have a significant impact on all residents of Washington by depriving them of access to exhibits, educational programs, events, regional archives, libraries, and resources that have been a valued part of our community since 1916. Eastern Washington needs and deserves this center of history, arts, and culture. When I created the Historical Society, the legislature recognized that it is desirable in the interest of the public pride and general welfare of the people of the state. Protect our heritage and connection to our history, our access to the rich American Indian artifacts, and the art shows that are part of our vibrant art scene in Spokane. We urge you to reject the proposal to close the MAC and reinstate funding."
Well, thank you for that email. We've got a lot of correspondence about the Museum of Arts and Culture, and I'm a strong supporter of the museum, not only for its cultural and historic value and its educational value, but also because it's a center of one of our great neighborhoods in Spokane, Brown's Addition. I'm going to do everything that I can to help preserve that funding. The governor, in her initial budget proposal, included just a bit of funding, not enough probably to keep the doors open at the MAC. I want to find a way to keep those doors open by increasing the funding, but we also have to remember we're trying to prioritize our spending, and there are a lot of demands on the budget, from children's health care to education and many other services. With all that being said, I think we're going to be able to find a way to keep it open. I hope we will, and I'm going to work very hard to support the MAC and make sure we can find that funding. One other thing I wanted to mention to the MAC, coming up Saturday, March 12th, we're going to have a town hall meeting in Spokane, myself and my seatmates, Representative Tim Ormsby and Senator Lisa Brown. We're going to have two of them, and one of them will be at the MAC. That's at 2 p.m. on the 12th, and then our second one actually will be in the morning at 10 a.m. at the Northeast Community Center. I hope you'll join us there. All right, let's try the second email and see what we got.
This one comes from the owner of a talent agency in Spokane, and she writes, "Greetings. I'm writing on behalf of myself and my personal small network of 142 individuals who work in the film industry in Spokane and Seattle. Not only am I a talent agent in Washington, I was born and raised in Spokane. Naturally, I'm concerned at the prospect of our film incentive not being renewed this year. We are blessed to have such an industry here in the Northwest. I'm sure the letters you're receiving are quoting the hundreds of thousands of dollars Spokane and her surrounding region are gaining due to bringing in out-of-town industry professionals. I won't add to that other than it's important to continue to provide our non-industry related businesses with the increase in flow of monies they benefit with feature film being shot in Washington. They would not receive it otherwise."
Okay, well, that's a great email on a very specific issue, and many of you know from seeing the guest column that I wrote in the Spokesman Review and for the last video update that I did, I'm very concerned about our tax exemptions, special tax preferences, and making sure that if we have them, that they work and that they have sunset clauses. And the tax exemption that helps to attract the film industry to Washington State has all of the elements that I think all the tax exemptions should have. First of all, it has a sunset sunset clause. That's why we're talking about it now, because it needs to be renewed if it's going to continue. It's also been reviewed. JLARC, the Joint Legislative Committee that oversees many revenue functions, especially tax exemptions, has reviewed this tax exemption, and it works. So I am a supporter of continuing this special tax preference so that we can keep the film industry in Washington State strong, and this is exactly the way we should be treating tax preferences. Okay, how about the third email?
This one comes from a single mom who's concerned about possibly losing the Working Connections child care benefit. And she writes, "I'm writing as a concerned Washingtonian as well as a concerned parent and citizen. I've read and heard of the proposed budget cuts that Governor Gregoire is proposing, and honestly, they scare me. One of the most concerning to me is the decision to cut the benefit of the Working Connections child care. As a single mother of 2 children, I'm required to work full-time in order to provide. However, I still fall into the working poor category. I am not one of the individuals that enjoy relying on state government for help to provide for my family, but there are those times when help is needed. It does not seem fair that those of us who work hard, can prove that we are gainfully employed and have a steady income, get penalized for needing just a little help to bridge the gap we cannot cover. I hate asking for help from the state and would love to be in a position to say, I don't need this, but I'm one of those that just needs a little bridge for the gap I can't cover at the moment. Once I get back on my feet, I will be discontinuing my requests for help, as most people that are in real need of help would do."
Great. Well, that's a great email in that it really captures the types of correspondence that we get related specifically to the budget. Hardworking people in our state that just need a little bit of support to make it to the next level. And the Working Connections child care program is just such a program. It helps people with some child care subsidies so that they can afford to work. Many people without these Working Connection child care subsidies really don't have the opportunity to work because they simply can't earn enough in a low-paying job to be able to cover the costs of their child care. This program is extremely important. It was cut substantially in the governor's initial budget. There's a bill right now that I support which will help to bring some of the control for Working Connections and other TANF-related programs back into the legislature so that we can make sure that we keep the Working Connections program strong so that we can help people to get back to work. Thank you for those 3 emails, and thanks to everybody who has communicated with our office so far this session. I want to encourage everybody to stay in touch via telephone, via email, or by stopping by our office in Olympia. Thanks so much for your input. It really makes a difference and helps me to do a good job in representing you.